"We don't have champagne flutes," he said when I walked into the kitchen. He frowned at the mugs on the mug tree. "The banana one or the stripy one?" Our kitchen was bright and cosy, with a wonky spice rack on the wall and clutter on every surface. Cookbooks with the pages stuck together with sauce, and crooked wooden cabinets that Grandad built because when we moved in here, we didn't have money for things like redoing the kitchen. Dad was no cook, though, so these days the spices were clumping together and there was dust collecting on the recipe books. "The stripy one," I said. "Right." He beamed and ran one hand through his hair, wavy and still black even though he was nearly 45. In the exact moment of noticing it, I realised he must dye it. "So history today, wasn't it? Was it what you hoped for? Bernadette Devlin and Bismarck?" "Yeah, I really don't want to dissect it. I'm fried." All right. Let's toast instead. We have a lot to celebrate." I squeezed the cork out of the bottle with a satisfying pop. I had a lot to celebrate technically. The last year of school had been hell, topped off with the leaving cert, but it was over now, and I would never have to go back there again. Dad, on the other hand, would not have realised my exams were over if the schedule hadn't been posted to the fridge for the last 9 months. Ironically, he was always the one with the scatty memory. "Your exams are over," he announced, holding his mug aloft. "And you're going to Oxford." "We don't know that," I said quickly, my stomach churning. "I'm certain of it. You'll have the time of your life." He hesitated then, and I could tell he was ramping up to something else. Suddenly, I knew what it was, and my stomach did a giddy flip. I'd been begging him to let Mum come home for months. He always had a million reasons why it didn't make sense. But for a second, my heart expanded to allow hope in. It wouldn't be perfect, I knew that. But it would be better than now. I could see her all day. Not just a visit for an hour or two, which is not the same as living with someone. I could defer Oxford and make up for the time we'd lost this year. Then I'd be ready to go and everyone would be happy. "I have some exciting news. I know it's going to come as a shock. I wanted to tell you before, but it's been so complicated and you've been so angry with me." His words were not making sense. I mean, yes, I'd been angry, although I thought I'd hidden it remarkably well, seeing as I hadn't snuck into his room at night and set it on fire. "I hope you'll be happy for me." The glass in his hand and his voice wavered. Nothing good starts with, "I hope you'll be happy for me." The phrase is loaded with the unsaid ending, because you won't be happy for yourself. "Saoirse, honey, I asked Beth to marry me." I dropped my mug on the table, champagne splashing out the top and forming a puddle. He set his down and held his hands up in surrender. "Look, I know you haven't really got to know her yet, but you haven't given her a chance." My mouth opened as though I was trying to respond, but my brain did not have the capacity to produce language. I closed my mouth and did the only mature thing possible. I ran upstairs to my room. The small space between the door and the window wasn't long enough for pacing up and down to be satisfying, but I did my best. Smoke was practically coming out of my nose. I wondered if he'd follow me. When I started to feel dizzy, I stopped pacing and paused to see if I could hear his footsteps in the hall. After a few moments, I heard the TV coming to life, the sounds of a sportsball game making their way through the ceiling. How could he do this to me? To Mum? I conjured up everything I knew about Beth. She and my dad were having an affair. She worked at an advertising company. She was always trying to talk to me, and I had to come up with ever more creative ways to avoid these friendly chats. I hated Dad for being so weak, for betraying Mum like